It is the Riot Podcast Wednesday, March 2nd. Thanks for joining us. First of all, bonus content. How was Jim's birthday, Jim the dog?
Oh,
we
yeah,
forgot
we didn't
to
ask about that.
Jim's birthday was actually a little bit of a disaster.
Aww.
Really?
We had two friends come over. One of them that is like a 6-month-old puppy.
Yeah.
Who just was a disaster. Obviously,
yeah.
Jim
Worse
is
than
Worse than Jim?
worse than Jim, and this night he was worse than Jim. Jim overall is probably worse, but they're like crazy together. And then his name's Bodie, and then the older one is Quinn, and she's 2.5 years old.
You're naming names.
I know, and
They all have human names, too.
I know, right? And so, and the 2.5-year-old puppy, like she's really calm and good, but the young one and Jim are just a handful together. They're crazy. They just play the whole time, which is fine. But we took a little time to like let Bodie, the youngest one, be by himself, just so we could calm down and whatnot. So we put him in my bedroom, and he was hanging out in there. And I come in, he peed in my bed twice.
Oh, no!
Oh.
So I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, it's fine, whatever. This happens all the time.
Yeah.
Jim does this anyway. No
That's
big
probably
deal.
why he peed in the bed, because he smells it.
He's
yeah.
like, oh, it smells like pee in here. I can probably go here. So then we let him back out. They're playing again, going crazy. He needs to be separated again because he was just getting a little bit overheated, you know. So then we were like, okay, we'll put him in Jim's crate this time. So that way, like, he won't be able to pee on the bed.
Sure.
He'll be way better. So then we left him in there for probably 7 minutes probably. I come back, he had pooped in the crate.
Oh.
Dude, what party did you have?
I know. And so,
What are you feeding these dogs?
Then we all over Jim's bed. I'm cleaning Jim's bed outside.
no.
It's a disaster.
Poor Jim.
So it was Jim's first and final birthday party ever.
Well, it's at first, if you, again, don't know since they all have human names, you're like, gosh, what rager were you having?
I know. Why is everybody pooping and peeing everywhere?
Yeah.
No, it's just Jim is Isaiah's dog, and it was his first birthday yesterday, and it sounded like you had a party.
It was a party.
Do you have one of those like plastic things on your mattress?
Oh, the
Plastic
cover?
covers?
No, I do not.
Oh my gosh.
Do you?
No, because my dog doesn't poop and pee on my bed.
I was just making- how you phrase that, it made it seem like, well, why don't you?
Yeah.
Because it's happened so many times.
Jim's only done it like twice, and then obviously yesterday. But the thing that was good yesterday is it only was on the first sheet.
Yeah.
It didn't make it through the second, third, or fourth, so I just had to pull the top cover off because it seemed like he was just like, it must have been just like a little bit.
A tinkle.
And so just a little tinkle.
A tinkle
And
is
so
what
they
they
were
were meant.
he's a much smaller dog than Jim. He was like a Frenchie, so he doesn't pee that much anyway.
How awful if your friend who brought their puppy, you're just always worried. You're like, will my dog behave?
Oh, yeah.
Is my dog going to be the worst one? And then it's like, hey, your dog's so bad. Can we put him in a crate?
Yes, your dog was so bad that Jim wasn't the worst one at the party. That's how it went. But it
You're
ended
on
up being
notice,
okay.
Bodie.
Yeah, Bodie, he was bad last night. But
Well,
I think him and Jim together are a
Don't
terrible
worry.
duo.
We've all had parties like that, Jim. So don't worry. And happy day after your first birthday.
In fact, you know what? We talk about one of those parties in the show today.
Oh, yeah. If you have not seen the video, I mean, again, you cannot comprehend this party that got out of hand at a grandparent's house and the damage that I think you just have to tear the house down. I kind of think after the end, but what happens when a party goes a little overboard and the main floor crashes down.
The house has been condemned. I don't know if officially, but it might as well be.
Might as well be, for sure.
We also talked a little about some game shows as well, what our favorite game shows and which one we'd like to be on, and how Hudson is just not for The Price is Right.
I like watching The Price is Right. It's actually kind of fun to watch. The prizes are good. I just have some one fairly good reason why The Price is Right would probably be the worst game show to actually try to participate in.
Well, you have to realize, too, if you win anything, you have to pay taxes on it.
Right.
So, everybody gets excited. You win all this stuff. You have to pay a pretty hefty California tax for it. And then I think it was Steven from Amberlin. He's been on it. But we had a band a long time ago that from our throwback channel who one of the guys made it onto Price is Right, and he won. But it so damaged the band that they broke up because of it.
No way.
Because only for the band, it kind of shot them to fame for a moment, and everybody just wanted to talk to the guy who was on Price is Right and not about the band, and I think it created some hard feelings.
See, if I ever won anything on The Price is Right, I can't imagine even if it was a car. I just sell it because I wouldn't want to pay the taxes.
Yeah.
And I could use that money to do whatever I want with.
Or I think
instead of having a car that I maybe wouldn't have chosen anyway.
You can choose the cash. That'd be it.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good choice.
The cash choice.
Well, if you have any game shows that you want to toss in there or let us know what would be the one you would want to, you're welcome to text anytime at 877-2-RADIO-U, and maybe you'll make it into tomorrow's show.
You just might be on. That's it. Is that it?
I think that's pretty much it.
We've covered enough.
We've covered a good amount.
Jim's post party was enough for you guys.
Yeah, Jim's post party was a lot. That was too much for me anyway.
Well, everybody have a wonderful day, and thank you for listening.
We'll catch you next
guys.
time.
Welcome to The Riot, where you listen to us, and that's it. It's pretty much a one-way street. The Riot. Radio U.
So I noticed this morning, and this may be something that maybe it happens every morning, or maybe I imagined it. Mm-hmm. But my alarm on my phone goes off, and I noticed the snooze button on my phone.
Yeah.
In the alarm app, it has a gentle glow. It like ripples.
Yeah.
It ripples off as if it's enticing you to snooze. Where the dismiss button does not have that. And I don't know. This could just be.
You never noticed it?
Maybe me and my sleepy stupor just wanting to go back to sleep. But it was like, oh, it's calling me. The snooze button wants me to press it. And I don't know. I think if that is the app, that's a flaw in design. Because that's literally the one thing that app is supposed to do is wake me up.
And that's not it.
And it's enticing me to go back to sleep.
Well, they are those, because, I mean, almost everybody I know just uses your phone to wake up to.
Yeah, right.
But you can have the, alarm clocks that start 30 minutes before, and they start getting brighter and brighter.
Right.
And they say that's a really nice way for your body to wake up in the morning instead of just harshly being screamed at by your alarm.
Yeah.
So, maybe you should look into one of those light alarms.
It is kind of crazy. I don't know. I know that there's the idea that you slowly wake up, but I'll tell you what. If it was just a light thing, wouldn't work. I sleep through anything. It's a miracle that I sleep or that I wake up every morning
for the show. Yeah,
I need something loud and in my face, but at the same time, it is crazy that for so many years in human history, the primary way to wake up is beep, beep, beep. So,
yep.
Yeah, which I'm sure a lot of people are just glad to hear this morning right now.
First off, they're waking up because that was so convincing.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Second, it'd be like what? You were a person rising with the sun?
Yeah.
Or with like a rooster?
Right.
Which is basically,
I guess the rooster isn't a lot better, is it?
That's a nature's alarm clock right there.
Yeah, that's pretty obnoxious and irritating too if you really think about it. So I guess there's no good way to wake up. Except for completely naturally without anything to do.
Yeah, if you have no plans in the morning, that's the best way.
That is a great way to wake up.
You can even go back to bed a little.
Yeah. You're right. There's no good way to wake up. There's only a good way to go back to bed for longer.
Perfect.
If they keep talking long enough, they're bound to say something that you agree with. The Riot with Hudson and Nikki on Radio U.
Finally have some closure on a issue that has been going on for a couple weeks now, and that is the Marvel Netflix shows, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, The Punisher, The Defenders, Iron Fist, Luke Cage. I think that's the entire list. Those were announced that they were leaving Netflix on March 1st. Mm-hmm. Well, March 1st is behind us.
So they're gone?
Off of Netflix. Then there was rumors swirling that they would be going to Disney Plus because that's where they were first announced to go in Canada. And now we know. March 16th.
Yeah.
All of the Marvel Netflix shows that originally premiered on Netflix will now be making their way to Disney Plus. That is March 16th.
Not too much of a shock because, like Hudson mentioned, they had said in Canada they had done some banners promoting they were also going to Disney Plus on that same date. Mm-hmm. But people were wondering if Disney Plus in Canada, if you go to different countries, there's different rules and
because
styles of what's streaming and what's family friendly or everything.
In a lot of the rest of the world, I believe Disney Plus isn't even called Disney Plus. It's called Star or something like that. So, it's way different. So it is definitely different from country to country. But nevertheless, fortunately, for Disney Plus subscribers anyways. Disney Plus in Canada and the United States, not that different. And that means we all get,
all
the Marvel
those.
Netflix shows.
Do you think you're going to go back, or will anybody go back and watch any of the old Netflix Marvel shows?
I'm sure.
Or do you think you just want them?
Well, I don't think it's likely that I'll go back and watch them, although the Daredevil series is good enough to go back and watch again. But it is just a big time investment when there's a bunch of shows that I haven't watched the first time that I still need to go through. But I think this is hopeful because we all knew that if they were staying on Netflix, we were never going to get new episodes. Disney Marvel wasn't going to allow that. So now that they're on Disney Plus, there's a chance any of these could continue on. In fact, we've seen some of the characters resurface from these shows in newer Marvel stuff. So that is connected to the actual cinematic universe. So that means there's definitely a shot. In fact, it seems likely that some of these characters are going to keep going on. Maybe some of the shows continue on.
Well, text at 877 to RadioU if there's one of the older Marvel Netflix shows. Which one would you go back and watch?
Yeah.
Which would you suggest to us? And if your suggestion is none, we will still take that in consideration too. That's fine.
And also, some people wanted to point out that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., another Marvel show, that ran on Disney or on ABC from 2013 to as recently as 2020. It went on a long time.
That did.
And that is actually pretty connected. I watched some episodes of that. Didn't really like it too much. But that show, while it was going on, was running like concurrently with Marvel movies as they were coming out. And so it would tie into them. It was pretty interesting how they did that. That's also now being added to Disney Plus.
We would say rate and review the podcast. But let's be honest, that would probably hurt more than hell. The Worst of the Riot podcast.
Colorado, where a entire floor of a house, just a regular residential house. I imagine it was a nice house, but a house nonetheless.
Did you see the video?
No, I did not actually get to see the video.
It's not much of a house anymore.
No, it's not.
Nope.
An entire floor collapsed.
Now, let's be positive. It's more spacious and open now.
That's right. You've got vaulted ceilings. Is that what they say?
Vaulted all the way down from the basement.
Yeah. So what happened was there was a birthday party for an 18-year-old. Now, this is the grandparents' home. They were throwing the party, or at least they were hosting the party.
They might not have
I don't know
known
how much they were involved, if at all. But their 18-year-old grandson turning 18, big birthday party. And one thing led to another. The address wound up being shared on social media.
Is that how more people came?
Yeah. So it was, what was that movie, Project X, back in the day? It was a Project, situation like that where a bunch of people that maybe had no business being at the party wound up showing up. Some of the kids that got there were like, we just kind of thought it was an open house.
Nice.
So everybody's just filtering in and out.
I feel so bad that this is a grandparent's house.
Yeah, right?
You're never going to make this up to them.
Oh, but they're so sweet, though. They'll probably be like, oh, don't worry, Johnny.
Watch the video, and then you're going to take all that back.
Oh, they're your grandparents.
No.
They're going to grin and just smile.
No.
They might get you a little, your Christmas present might be a little smaller.
I wonder.
Next time.
They're going to take it out of it.
Yeah, but they're not going to express their anger to you.
Well, I wonder if, insurance, since you're having a party and this is an overwhelming amount, there was about 100 to 150 people, a lot of them underage. And the inside, like the middle of the house, collapsed down into the bottom floor, with the basement.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of damage, obviously. The whole floor is gone.
Yeah.
And injuries as well.
Yeah. Oh, I'm looking at the video now. That is crazier than I imagined it being. That is not how, in my mind, I picture an entire floor of a house collapsing.
Now you know that the grandparents will not be happy.
Yeah, they're not, but still, though, you think your grandma's going to come home and be upset?
Have you ever had your grandparents get mad at you? It's a whole different level than your parents.
I was a good child.
Even if you were good, they got grumpy every so often.
Yeah, I guess they did.
And this is you destroying their entire house. You're not just fixing that, or it'll be okay. We can get to it later. That's their whole house.
You can't fix that by doing a few extra chores, mowing the lawn for them a few extra times.
they said that no one was trapped, thankfully, but there was a natural gas leak. Like you get all that involved because of the collapse. And so that had to be shut off for everybody. It is damaged portion of the structure. They're seriously glad no one was hurt or killed.
Yeah.
But that's damaged.
Yeah, this is got a lesson to me. Not going to have a party with 100 to 150 people, that's for sure.
When I saw that originally, I was like, wow, it'd have to be online because I don't know that many people.
Yeah,
for
right.
Like an in-person
you
party.
You definitely do not have that many invites to send out.
My grandparents would be like, did you not want to invite anybody else? We could,
so right.
find some more people for you.
Yeah, you want us to invite some of our friends?
Yeah, then that would have been a real party.
This is The Riot. RadioU.
The unfortunate news that we got yesterday that the Major League Baseball owners and players have not agreed to a deal, and that means that they officially are canceling games for the first time during this lockout.
So they're not like canceling the whole baseball season, but they're just still fighting, and so they're not ready to start any games.
They are not. So spring training was supposed to start this weekend, and then the actual season was supposed to start on March 31st. But both of those have been pushed back, where they've canceled at least the first week of the season because they did not reach a deal last night.
Is it money?
Well, yeah.
Yes,
of
course.
Checking,
I mean, generally money.
The players want more, or the owners don't want to give more?
The owners don't want to give more.
I see.
Yeah, the owners are like Isaiah, would you agree with this? That the owners are definitely seen as the evil villains when it comes to these negotiations, and I think as rightly they should be.
I would say so. Yeah, for the most part, I would say it's mainly on the owners right now.
Yeah, so what makes baseball unique is, or at least in this situation, is that all the owners, they're all making money. The value of MLB teams continues to go up. But you do have, like, I'd say roughly a third of the league has owners, teams that are willing to pay pretty much anything. They'll spend a lot of money. But the other 2/3 of the league, particularly the bottom third of the league, knows that their values of their teams continue to go up, and they continue to make money no matter what they pay the players. And so they're not really paying the players. They don't care if they put out a good team. They don't care if they don't care to pay equal to the other teams and whatever. So, and then the owners just get to keep the money. So that's the players' argument, and it's pretty sympathetic, especially if you're a fan of, like, the Orioles or the Pittsburgh Pirates, where
the Indians,
where they're just comfortable.
Guardians.
Anybody that's coming up for a contract, they'll trade to one of the 8 teams that's willing to pay, then keep their salaries at the rock bottom, so that they just keep making tons and tons of money.
Well, it seems like for the MLB, it's the luxury tax threshold that's an issue. New bonus pool stuff for pre-arbitration players. Minimum salary. So that's what they're fighting over. Expanding the postseason to 12 games.
Yeah, that's a big one right now.
If you look at the list is long of things that they cannot seem to agree on, which is why no games have started.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem, the tough thing with these is the owners, they're mostly billionaires, if not all of them. They can continue to lose money.
Nice.
This isn't even,
I know, right?
Most of them,
it's ridiculous.
Wouldn't that be great to just be able to
fight over millions more?
Yeah, right. And to not even have to worry. Like, I don't think any of them, it's not even their first business.
Sure.
So they can keep losing money and they'll be fine. The players, on the other hand, obviously a lot of them don't make comparatively so much money where they can just continue on doing this forever, but they seem pretty steadfast. Some of them are, including Bryce Harper, pretty high profile, talking about maybe going to play in Japan instead.
They won't do that.
You don't think?
0% chance. But I think that the owners should just be forced to sell the team.
What do you mean?
Because there's enough people that have enough money in the United States that would love to have the team, and they would spend so much more money than the owners of the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Indians.
Say that.
Oh, they say that. But if you are not willing to compete and pay enough money, then you should just go. I am perfectly fine with the lockout. We could miss 3/4 of the season. If they could figure this out, I do not care. I'll miss a whole season of
if
baseball.
We have to.
There's like 160 games. We'll still get like 50 games, and it'll be great.
I'm with you on that.
But if they can just fix how this is, because there's a third of the teams right now that are competing, and then 2/3 of the league aren't even trying. So if you're not trying to win the games, then why are we even playing them? Sell the team if you don't want to pay the money. There's plenty of people out there who will.
I know you're saying that, but the problem is if you have if somebody's willing to buy a team and you can make money, either you can make a lot of money and not be competitive, or make a lot of money and be competitive, or make even more money and not be competitive,
then
you're going to choose to not be
just
competitive and make more money.
It's are you here playing the game, or are you here to make money? That's how it is. Or are you doing both? It seems like they're trying to make money. Are you trying to win games or not?
I mean, in a way, it is bad business sense for us to be arguing for the players. From a business perspective, the owners are doing the exact right thing, most of them.
Oh, yeah.
But for a sport that's competitive, that we don't want that. We want to actually see, competitive teams being put out there.
Well, they're saying that players would lose about $20.5 million in salary for every day that the season is canceled. And they say that, obviously for teams, that doesn't work. So spring training was supposed to start Saturday, and it's on hold.
I don't think anything is happening soon. So I was looking it up. Japanese baseball starts on March 25th.
You could go play there.
Well,
I would choose that.
I'll just watch that because I really want baseball. I like baseball. I don't like this, though. Don't like it.
If you're looking for hot takes on the day's most important news stories, you're in the wrong place. You're listening to The Riot on RadioU.
AMC, the movie theater chain.
Yeah.
They're doing with the Batman.
Oh, what are they doing?
No, they are experimenting with something they call variable pricing.
Yeah.
And you might think
just means things are more expensive.
You might think, ooh, maybe they say they're going to charge different prices for the Batman than they would for other movies.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I guess maybe in your mind, if you read the headline the right way, you might think, oh, does that mean if I go at the right time, it'll be cheaper? I guess, but that's only because if you go at the wrong time, it's going to be more expensive.
Sure.
That is the idea, is that they are going to start charging. For example, right now, if you wanted to buy a ticket for the Batman at an AMC theater in Los Angeles, they're charging $1.50 more than they are charging for if you wanted to go see any other movie.
So it's more like it's a premium movie. Doesn't change the experience.
No.
Don't confuse it.
Right.
It's just because that's a new release, they want to charge you more. So if you're going to see a movie, same exact time, same theater, you could pay less if it's not a new movie that they deem more expensive.
Right. And it's not that they're reducing the price of the other movies.
No.
It's they're increasing the price of the Batman. And what sounds like is what they're going to do with if it goes well.
Yeah.
And they say they already do this in Europe and stuff like that. So if it goes well, then this may be for pretty much new releases going forward. The new release, first weekend it's out, I'm assuming, and the better show times is going to be more expensive because they figure you're going to come on Saturday night to see the Batman opening weekend anyways, no matter how much we charge you.
Well, it's disappointing because they do say in Europe this is how it normally is, but they're saying, that it's a premium charge for the best seats in the house.
Yeah.
And they say that, that's normal in like sporting events, concerts, so why wouldn't it be like that with movies? So wait a minute, though. You're premium charging for just the new movie that weekend. It's not any different seats in the house.
Right.
It's not like it's premium.
Yeah, it's not like you go see a sporting match, which is a weird way to say it. What, am I a robot? It's not like you go see a game, like go to a game, and then you could see the same game a week later, and it would be cheaper. And it's even though we agree that like going to see a movie in theaters is cooler than watching it from home. There's still that experience. The experience isn't so different compared to if you go see a play, because that's another example. They use a play or a sporting event live in person is a lot different than seeing it at home. Where seeing a movie in theaters, you're still doing largely the same thing as if you could recreate the movie experience at home.
Well, theaters just need to be aware. They said a study suggested that 8% of pre-pandemic moviegoers may never return back to theaters. And so they're trying to just get more money and go back to how it was.
Yeah.
But I think the 8% is a little low because if you I'm tired of everything just being more expensive.
Yeah.
And
for a lot of times not a great reason.
So if you want to do that, I just don't need to go to the movie. I'll wait it out.
Yeah. I think that movie theaters
have to be aware of that.
They don't understand it. They think that getting through the pandemic, like if they can get through that means they can just do whatever they want because they're going to make it through anything. And I don't think that's true. Like it's tough because I love movies. I love going to the movies. and it just seems like they don't love me going.
Sure.
You know?
Well, they do. They just
don't
want
love
you to
me
pay
back.
more. Yeah.
Hudson, Nikki, The Riot on RadioU.
What makes Millionaires so happy?
I think it's the millions.
You think?
I think
You think
so.
that's what it is?
No, they always say money will, no matter how much you have, there's still problems.
Yeah.
And I am a firm believer. I think the more millions you have, probably the bigger the problems are.
Yeah.
But I think we can all also agree we'd be willing to try it out.
I will take the chance. They say, money can't buy happiness or whatever, but we have some new really interesting research. It was a collaboration of several researchers that did this from several different universities, where they wanted to figure out how do millionaires spend their time, and compared to like us average, the hoi polloi of the world. And what they found was really interesting, that millionaires, like the people with more money, did actually report higher levels of happiness than the average person. But the difference was what that can be attributed to, besides obviously the money, they think is actually how the millionaires spend their time. When you compare it to the average people, because of course they tracked a bunch of Dutch millionaires and then just a bunch of regular people. They asked how you allocate your time. On average, the days are fairly similar. Millionaires spend a little bit more time working than the average person. But like some of the other things, like kind of the stuff you have to do, like taking care of your family, your kids and whatever, going shopping, cooking, stuff like that, like the necessities, they spend about the same amount of time doing that. And then leisure time, they spend about the same amount of time doing leisure, just whatever you want to do when you're not working or doing necessity stuff. It's all, the time frames for all of that is not that different. But the difference is, for millionaires, their leisure time is spent doing stuff, including what they call active leisure, as in playing sports, meeting up with friends, doing hobby type stuff, volunteer work. Whereas the average person with the normal amount of money.
Just say us.
Yeah, right. We're not millionaires. We engage in our leisure time is more passive leisure.
Yeah.
As in watching TV, resting, sleeping, doing nothing. That's how we report spending our time.
That's the best, doesn't it?
It sounds the best, but apparently that's the difference between us being happy as a millionaire and not.
Well, I think the happiness for millionaires, it also seems like, based on this, is, like when we have a whim and you're like, hey, I'd love to go do this or go do that. A lot of times we might have obstacles keeping us from that.
Yeah.
But when you're a millionaire, whatever your whim is, you can, during your free time, just go do it or have it done for you without the questioning, which I think a lot of, again, all of us average people do.
Yeah. And I think
like we can't go on our boat.
Right. You can't just go out. I think for me, a great comparison, would I rather be on vacation somewhere, out going somewhere, or would I rather be watching TV? Well, of course, I'd rather be on vacation. I'm happier when I'm on vacation doing stuff, not even the fact of not working, just out doing something. But watching TV is a lot cheaper. And I don't have a lot of money to go on vacation and go on trips and go do stuff all the time.
Let's change our mentality, though. I can watch TV on vacation.
You can.
I can watch something streaming
But then
there.
it doesn't feel like the only thing that you can afford to do.
Sure. And these average millionaires that they were kind of surveying, they had an average of around $2.7 million in assets.
Yeah, so they've got enough. They don't have to worry. They can just do what they want.
Sure.
And what they want to do is not watch TV. So I there's probably something to that, though. It would be great to turn off the TV a little more, but then I'd have to find a hobby.
Stop it. Don't come after my shows. That's all we have.
Not just your shows, also resting and sleeping.
Yeah, next
and doing nothing.
Next, you're going to tell me to stop watching TikToks. Just stop it.
That wasn't even on the list.
I bet millionaires are stuck on those too.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they are.
We've done you a favor by selecting the best of the worst and compiling it all in one place. Riot Podcast, RadioU.
Everybody was talking about Wheel of Fortune last night and this morning, and
Who's everybody?
If you woke up and saw it trending, you're like, it has to be something weird.
If Wheel of Fortune is in the news, it's not because something great happened.
Sure.
So I wish we could play this whole clip for you. The problem is, and what makes it notable, is that it goes on for so long. The simplest way to break it down, one, you just got to watch it. Because for all of us, you see the little screen grab, and it says AN space THER FEATHER, and then obviously it's another feather in your cap.
Yes.
And what goes on for literally 8 turns, 8 spins of the wheel. The 3 people cannot solve it.
They go with another feather, my favorite, in your map.
Yeah. The
in
woman,
your lap.
The
In your
woman
lap.
in your lap. You know, the common phrase.
Yeah, who
the
hasn't heard of
woman
that?
cannot figure it out, that keeps doing the guesses, that just clearly has no idea.
Oh, yeah.
That's the most frustrating, because the one guy, it had to be, the guy's name is Thomas, that finally figures it out. As this is happening, he spins the wheel once, goes bankrupt.
Mm-hmm.
Then the other 2 people go through and cannot figure it out. He spins the wheels again. He loses a turn. And then again, the other 2 people cannot figure it out. His name is Thomas. He must have just been stewing there, thinking, if I lose all this money, after she just guessed another feather in your map, then I don't even want to be on this show anymore.
Well, did you see the tweet? Because to me, I feel like, yes, that's also one thing, but the person who tweeted said, I'd like to solve, another feather in everything but your cap. Yeah. And this person tweets, thank you, Wheel, for not editing out 6 of the 8 lost turns in a row like you normally would.
Oh, yeah.
And when I read that, I was like, dude, you're mad at Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
Editing the ending of these shows, but maybe that's something that's more commonly done. But for this, they left all the wrong guesses in, and it makes you so mad.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It is just
Isaiah,
frustrating.
you were not mad enough watching that.
I was just in disbelief that people could just be so silly. Like, what are you thinking? That's it was so obvious. It sounds like, are they messing around? Like, how are they on the show? Like, what's wrong with these people? Because if it was me, I would have gotten it right away.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what, as I watched it and I see like some of them, they spin and guess letters that are in there. Mm-hmm. And even though it's already clear that it's another feather in your cap. And so I just don't know that, I guess I'm not fully all in on the Wheel of Fortune rules to where I know, like, why are they still spinning? Why don't they just solve it? Because it's so obvious. But then there's the woman who just keeps guessing the wrong thing.
Well, some spin it to get more money if they even know the answer.
Yeah.
But then they didn't know the answer, so it didn't work out for them.
And it doesn't really make, I don't know, I guess the Wheel of Fortune just makes no sense to me. Because why would you not get more money, the most money for solving the puzzle than spinning the wheel?
From now on, if another feather in your cap comes up in anything in life, you need to say, no, it's another feather in your map.
Right.
I've never heard that term.
Change the phrase.
You
never heard of that one.
Own up to that and be like, no, it's map, isn't it? And just play it off.
Well, you know what I want to know? This has me thinking, Wheel of Fortune is definitely not the answer, but which game show would you like to go on if you got to choose any game show?
Oh, that's a good question.
What would it be?
Can we have a minute?
Yeah, I think we should think about it. But definitely, can we all agree, not Wheel of Fortune?
Well, yeah. No.
Even though if we're competing against these 2 people, obviously we would win.
Maybe that was my choice now that I've seen this video. Maybe I could win it all.
Well, okay, we'll take a minute. If you could be on a game show, which would it be? If you text 877 to RadioU, and I think I'll need to look at a list of game show options.
Yeah.
And then
you
we
don't
can
watch
choose.
game shows?
No, not too often.
I've got mine ready. I got a good
mine
one
as well.
Why pay for so many streaming services that you don't really care about when you can not really care about the Riot for free? Radio U.
Question is, which game show would you like to go on the most? We're asking after last night's Wheel of Fortune debacle, which you just have to look up and see the video. We cannot describe it in a way that's as good or as frustrating as just watching the clip.
Or I guess you could call and check in with your grandparents or your parents.
Yeah, they can tell you about it.
Be like, what's up? So I guess the question for you two, though, is what are we counting if we're talking about, like, well, what game show would we want to be on? Because when we Google the game shows, it does count like reality game shows.
Reality doesn't count.
So
Survivor doesn't count.
But that's like Bachelor and stuff because it's a game show. It's a game of life.
If you
get money at the end on some of them.
around, then more. If it takes more than one episode for you to win or lose,
you don't want to count it.
It doesn't count. Yeah.
So if you want to text in, let's see, Katie and so many others said Price is Right is the main one.
I will tell you why that's wrong.
Well, okay, well, hang on. Katie, Hudson says you're wrong, but hang tight. And then Frog said like American Gladiator, which would probably be like the ninja shows. And then there's the Japanese Castle one, if you've seen that.
I have no idea what that is. But let me tell you why the Price is Right is wrong. There's why the price is wrong There's two reasons. Or one reason, I guess. One, you have to wait in line. Have you ever seen the process for The Price is Right? You have to wait in line, then wait in another line, then wait in another line to get into the building. And then, and this is all in like, especially if you go in the summertime, it's the heat of Los Angeles. And then if you get in to the building to sit and watch the show, you still might not get chosen to be on The Price is Right. And like, there's just so many ways where you just go through all this process and get like one guess and then don't even win anything. Although the prizes on Price is Right are pretty cool. Another thing, I was just watching The Price is Right the other day. And, you know, like I imagine, you think back to the old days of Price is Right until pretty recently, they had all like the female models and whatever.
Yeah.
Now they just have two.
Oh.
They have one female, one male. But it's not fair because the woman is dressed in like an elegant dress and the guy's up there in just like a sweater.
Oh, really?
I don't think it's fair. I think you should have to be in a tux or something.
All right,
But
so
the woman has to get all dressed up.
Hudson says no to The Price is Right. What's your choice then?
My choice, if I want to win money, is Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I think I'm pretty smart. I've got a 1 in 4 chance on every question. I think I can handle that.
Okay.
And then, but for fun, I would love to do Family Feud.
Family
you don't win a lot of
Feud?
money on Family Feud, but that would be a lot of fun.
Well, Jim texted in and said, I wish I was smart enough for Jeopardy, but I'd have to say Price is Right is the one, again, that most people are choosing. What do you think, Isaiah?
I would 100% pick Deal or No Deal.
Oh, really?
Because
Really?
it takes nearly no skill to be able to do it. Because I don't want to rely on like my brain power. Because I don't want to get a bad question and get knocked out. So if I'm like, I don't want to risk the odds of getting a question I'm not going to know. Because I know coming up to it, like everyone's like, oh, you'll study. I never studied in college. I'm not going to study now for this. And it's not going to matter if I do
win
anyway.
you $1 million.
It's not going to matter if I do anyway. And so I would pick Deal or No Deal and just run the risk that I'm just a lucky guy.
Well, sometimes you could know all that stuff, but the pressure of being on the show,
Yeah.
Suddenly, I think I would be afraid I'd turn real dumb.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's how it is. Like a
With
feather
Deal or
in your
No-
cap. That's how it goes.
With Deal or No Deal, you could actually, you're not going to beat the dealer, but you could still wind up with a lot of money.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
I would
the
just
banker.
take the deal once it gets to a certain point, and I would get the heck out of there with
That's probably
100,
what everybody
200K.
says, isn't it?
Now, Cole says Jeopardy. Zach says Jeopardy. Cole also said Naked and Afraid.
Hey, that's my show. I've been talking about Naked and Afraid forever. I would be a great contestant on Naked and Afraid.
Well, if you had to pick a reality or like a game show, what would you pick? No one wants to, I think, do Wheel of Fortune based on last night, but I liked, do you remember the show Wipeout?
Yes.
Would that count as one?
I guess that counts.
And
yeah,
then-
because I was thinking Flora's Lava too on Netflix, and I think I watched that, and I don't know if anybody else has seen that, and it's like, oh, you'd so be able to do it. It has to be so much harder than
Physically
it looks.
Oh, yeah.
Family Feud, I agree with. And then I want to do one of those grocery store games where you run around and
Yes.
like sweep
Supermarket
the
Yes.
something like that.
That's another one that I would love to do, but you don't win a lot of money doing that
No,
one.
but don't you win?
It's like groceries for a week. I mean, the amount of money, it's like you could, with inflation now, you could buy groceries for a week.
Hudson, do you know how much groceries are? I would love a trip around a store and
Yes.
just take what I
Just
get
a
in the car.
one-timer.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I always wanted to be on Cash Cab, too. I always hoped that I just hopped in the Cash Cab. Wouldn't that be so
Well,
great?
that'd be a fun surprise.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know if I would win.
Well, if I was that, I'd be like, why's the doors locking?
Yeah, exactly.
Where are we going? Let me out.
Well, I think we all should get a chance to be on a game show one. Everybody deserves that right.
One
should
day.
be written into the Constitution. You get to be on a game show.
One time.
One time in your life.
Well, why don't you introduce that bill?
Yeah, I think it'd have a lot of support.
That's enough of that. For more Riot content, head to riot.radiou.com.